Hey everybody, welcome to Consult the Blind Guide. We are live. Today we are covering Leda Day 9. What is your why? In today's episode, you're going to get a little bit more information of why I do what I do. Oh, well, hey, look at that. I forgot to turn on the high contrast theme so I could actually read. Um, that's not cool because now I can't see. There we go. I'll get that out of my way. That just like screwed up my whole thing because I can't see what I was hoping to. Give me 1 second. Sorry for the technical difficulty here. This is what I get for trying to do so many things to hurry up and get prepped to get in here on time. Um, I really don't have to read this, but I have been reading the definition of what my mission is for the Leda challenge each day. So I want to do as I have been and give the exact mission statement for the day. I know it's in the description, but I would still prefer to be able to read it here for you all. That way, for those of you who have not seen it or those who are unable to see it, I want you to be able to understand what today's topic really is, besides me just saying, what is your why? All right, day 9 for Leda. On the back of your story, now is the time to identify your why. This is so important for creating content that will be engaging and creating a relationship with your audience. Your mission. Tell us what your why is. Go as deep as you want. So, there's today's mission. And I am not going to read any more notes. As I did yesterday, I'm going to wing this. I don't see any point in honestly having to write out a note for this one. Actually, I'm going to write out my notes after just for future reference. Otherwise, I'm not going to actually be referencing notes. I am opening back up Chrome real quick because I minimized it so I could be able to see if you chat. And if you're here with me live, thank you for joining me. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can stay updated on the latest videos, live streams, and more. As I said, today is Leda Day 9. And for those of you who may not understand or know what Leda is, I am participating in a live stream challenge hosted by the Live Streaming Pros channel. And Leda stands for live every day in August as well as April. This month is my first time in the challenge, and I will promise you already right now, come April, I will be in the second one as well. I have a feeling that from now on, when the Leda challenge comes up, whether I per se necessarily need to gain confidence or anything else, I am still going to participate just to help out those in the community to further themselves in their streaming, as well as everybody has been doing the same thing for me. So I'm sure you're wondering, what in the Sam hell is that behind you, right? Well, this here over my shoulder is my eagle staff. This is what I carry at gatherings and traditional events. This here is what is known as the warrior's flag. Mine specifically represents everyone in the four directions. This is why I'm also known as the All Nations Warrior, is because of this right here. Just so I can explain a little bit here, because I'm sure you're wondering what everything represents on it. I do have every of the all these flags that you may be seeing. Not that you can probably see the top. Oh yeah, you can see the top just barely, huh? Sorry about that. So you aren't actually seeing the very top. I'll reach over here and tilt the other way. This way you can have a full view. There is an eagle head on the very top. underneath that eagle head is the beginning of the trailer. At the beginning of the trailer, you will notice that there is an upside down US and Canadian flag. Underneath that is the patches for each of the military branches. In the center is a POWMIA, and that has some drop feathers that are actually uh, covering up some of the patches. The patches actually state Gichi Anishinabeka Iwe Nuing Inatnakia, which means the great many people in the four directions. Um, these these patches here that are flipped upside down. I'm sure you're probably wondering why they're upside down, right? Why are you inverting or putting the American flag, Canadian flag, Mexican flag, and the Brazilian flag upside down? Well, if you know anything about flag etiquette, flipping a flag upside down represents distress. It's an international symbol of distress. As a Native American, unfortunately, we are still in a state of distress. This country was stolen from us long ago, and we still face issues with the federal government to this day over treaties and obligations that have never been met by the United States government. So that is why those flags are upside down. They represent that our nations have been in distress ever since the beginning of the relationship with the colonial settlers and everything that has progressed since then. We are our own sovereign nation, so that's why those flags are there. Each of these feathers that you see here represents a person that has passed on and taken that sacred journey back to the Creator. These people that these feathers represent have sacrificed one thing or another for this country and the people around the world. You're probably asking, why do you carry this? What does it truly represent? This is my way of showing appreciation for the hardships, the trials, tribulations, and the fights that have been going on for generations. This is my way of contributing to the people around the world and saying thank you for your service and for fighting the good fight so that everybody can have a better journey throughout their lives. I am a traditional dancer. When I go dancing, I am out there not only for myself, but I am also dancing for my elders and ancestors and veterans that are unable to dance. Because there are still a lot of people who do not dance out of fear of being mocked while they're out in the powwow circle, which is actually a very big no-no in our culture, is to poke fun at somebody out in the sacred circle. But I dance to represent those who are afraid to, who are unable to, or who are no longer with us, to honor that spirit, their fight, and their courage to represent and fight for the people. As I said, I am a Marine Corps volunteer. I spent 8 years in the service, and because of that, that's how I actually get to carry this Eagle staff and why I am allowed to dance in the Veterans Dance. I am recognized by my community as a veteran for the 8 years of volunteering my service at no cost. I did this because I believe it is really everybody's responsibility to do something to help make this country better. Whether you just speak up and fight against the discrimination or racism or bullshit laws that keep getting created and screwing us all over, it, you name it. If you're doing something to fight for the good fight, this here represents you. As I said the other day, you've heard a lot of the trials and tribulations I have had throughout my entire life. Of course, I didn't put absolutely everything into those stories, but you heard a great deal of my life journey. Excuse me. Gotta love that coffee when it starts churning. In fact, I'm gonna take a sip real quick if you don't mind. Mm. Oh, good old caffeine. It makes everything so much better. If you have any questions about anything I am talking about and you're here live or here on the replay, by all means, please feel free to put it in the chat or comment down below. I would appreciate it. I have no problems answering any of your questions when it comes to these things. I am here to provide you with value, answer your questions on a variety of topics, as most of you already know. So, why do I do what do I do? As most of you know, I have this channel as well as two others. My original, or well, my oldest channel, Raven's Videos 1, was originally created to share my knowledge and experience as a Native American, to share our culture, our history, language lessons, culture lessons. Um, I have also made protest videos or awareness videos, all revolved around the Endangered Species Act, environmental issues, native issues, and then just issues in society in general that I feel need the awareness brought to them. And I'm going to actually be working on a couple more of those this week as much as I can to get them scheduled to come out as well, because I would love to have a more open discussion with our community here and other viewers on YouTube, because I do believe there are some topics that have actually been swept under the rug that need to be brought to light, that social media or mainstream media feel should not be talked about. And for some reason, I don't understand this, but they think it's time that they censor what we want to talk about when it comes to current events. As I said the other day, when you mention this wonderful situation we're in right now, you know, the COVID-19 shit, when you say that, they actually are punishing people, and that's bull, in my opinion. So I will be actually touching on this subject, but yet again, at some point here in the next couple weeks. Because as far as I'm concerned, for YouTube or Google, whichever way you really want to look at it, because it is one in the same entity. Google owns YouTube. It is my honest belief that they are violating our Constitution. No one in this damn country has a right to violate the First Amendment, especially when you swore that your company was all about preserving and actually educating people on them kind of things. Now, I know another good example of this would be Facebook. Facebook is way, way bad when it comes down to censorship. In fact, Facebook and YouTube have both agreed to the federal government, as well as a lot of different mainstream media and social media companies, that they would begin censoring things here on YouTube and on their platforms if they felt that it went against the status quo of what the United States government says. And that, again, is bull. Why? Because that means they're trying to manipulate you into what you know and what you believe, because they can actually control the information you receive. That's taking your right to free thought and free speech away from you, because then they are hiding the actual facts from you. And please don't think that I'm saying this to be an asshole or a conspiracy theorist. When I say this, I am being 100% truthful and honest. You can ask any veteran, and they will tell you the same thing. There's a lot of our history in this country that our government hides on purpose because they want to control a lot of different situations. Like, for instance, this whole TikTok situation. How do we know, as TikTok viewers, TikTok users, or people in general, that this whole TikTok ban is not just a political coup to create more issue and tension over the trade wars these last few years? It is my honest opinion that our government is getting too big for its own good. They keep implementing things that they should not be implementing, and they are still adding into the laws instead of abolishing things that have been obsolete and useless and bullshit one-sided things for generations that are still on the books. For instance, you may not realize, but over in Kansas and in Utah, it is still legal. Still legal. It's on the books, so it would technically still be legal. It's in the process of hopefully being abolished here pretty soon. But underneath their law, back in the old day in the 1800s, well, even really before that, it was a law that if you seen any two natives together, whether they were close together or whether they were socially distanced, if you were to see a native standing with another native, they could actually be seen as a war party and killed on sight just for standing there. And these are things that should not remain on our law system books to this day. You know, in my opinion, because you see two natives on the road does not give you the right to go out and shoot them. It doesn't give you the right to go out and attack them in the sense that you're going to repeat history to try and collect a scalp. And that's another thing. Scalping was not something that started here by us. Scalping was actually something that was started by the Europeans to make their little bit of money for killing our relations in this country to take the land. When they started scalping to get their bounty for the number of kills or wounded that they could possibly get, that's how that whole situation started. So just know that when you hear that whole situation, that you're not getting the 100% truth out of textbooks and history books. This is one reason that I have my oldest channel, is to help educate on some of these issues as well as share our culture. My second channel, which was created like 5 minutes before here on Consult the Blind Guy, which is MMM Tutorials, was originally created to share my knowledge on how to use the Magic Music Maker Studio. I am actually going to be upgrading that channel here pretty soon, and it will contain all of my tutorials, whether it's how I make music, whether I do lessons on traditional art or things like that, movie editing or video editing, things like that will all be on that channel, as well as my a secondary copy of the blind visually impaired tutorials, because the simple tech for the blind, or simple tech for everyone as it is now known, is here on Consult the Blind Guy, but I will be making a copy of those to put onto that other channel. That way everything I do for an actual tutorial lesson can be housed in one spot to make it easier for you, the viewer. As I said, you're on my third channel, which is Consult the Blind Guy. This channel here was created for a couple of reasons as well. One was to be able to help share and educate on my experience of what it's like to be visually impaired with X-linked retinitis pigmentosa and the journey that I've had throughout my life with discrimination and racism and issues in school, issues in relationships, and just general along my journey through life. Because I know that there are some things that I have experienced that you may have experienced, and you might be sitting there going, "But I'm alone." No, I can assure you, you're not alone. There are a lot of us in the blind VIP community who have endured many of the same trials and tribulations. So if you need somebody to talk to, vent to, please feel free to hit me up at any time here in the chat, in the comments below, in an email, on social media. You can feel free to contact me at any point in time. I will lend you my shoulder to cry on, my ear to vent to. You do not have to worry about being judged because of your feelings or your opinions. As I said, I volunteered 8 years to protect that right for you. If you're here with me live today, I thank you. I would love to hear from you if you are here with me live today. If you're not, please don't forget to leave a comment down below with hashtag team replay, and we can chat in there because I would love to know if this is actually getting out to anybody instead of just sitting here while I'm live and then going stagnant and not getting any kind of view later on. So I would appreciate that feedback if you could, please. Um, Today I did actually remove my picture that usually sits over my head right here because I didn't want to glare it in your eyes. But I'll do my best to get this on here without getting a glare on it. It's a little bit hard. There we go. That is actually a tintype photo of me last year at the powwow. And that is usually what you guys are seeing just up over my head that occasionally you catch the glare off of. So I took it down today so it would not like blind you if you are somebody that has light sensitivity or are sighted and happen to get shined, because I do not intend on trying to blind you during these streams with a glare behind me. That is one reason that I am actually going to be positioning things a little bit better here in the future. So that way you do not have to worry about getting that glare from the light to shine in the camera or in the background and then onto you. As I said the other day, I am also legally ordained. Now, the whole reason I am ordained is actually because of a couple friends of mine, because of knowing about my journey and the teachings that I have from my elders. That's how I got ordained. Because usually, as natives, this ordination thing for being a spiritual or religious leader is not something that we would do. In our culture, we have a medicine lodge, and you have to have certain teachings and things to participate and stuff you have to do in order to be recognized as a traditional medicine person. And I can only make a little bit of reference to that because there's a lot of things that we are not allowed to share openly. It is sacred teachings and things like that that must be protected so they are not misused or sold off like some of the people that are out these days that think that they have the ability to practice our traditional teachings when they don't have the actual teachings themselves. Um, I started my spiritual leadership journey at the age of 7. I was given my traditional name, and that's when I was given my beginning of my teachings that I am still learning to this day. Every day is still a learning day for me as a spiritual leader to be able to help my community. Um, as I did in Leda yesterday, because I am speaking on this topic, I feel I must follow one of our traditional requirements, and that would be to properly introduce myself. So, bonjour, ninikanik, Gagaxio bondiak nadishnikas, Nijwishwidin anishanabekandau, Mishike nadorum, Ogichida anishanabe, Obwandiag gadishnikas, Mishomis. Gitchi Anishinabeka Iwe Niwing Inaakia Indao. What I just said is hello. My name is Raven Pontiac. I am of the Three Fires people, Turtle Clan. I am a warrior of the Anishinaabe. My grandfather is Chief Pontiac, and I am the All Nations warrior. So, thank you for joining me and listening to what I have to say today, because it is not too often that I come on and do these things like this where I share a lot of our cultural knowledge and things like that. But it actually will become a regular thing here in the near future on my other channel. So if you are interested in that, excuse me, sorry about that, don't mean to burp in your ear. But if you are interested in learning about Native American culture, Native American history, and language, and things like that, check out Raven's videos. One, that is my oldest channel, and I will be going live on there here in the near future to start giving some of these teachings that I am allowed to share. I actually already have somewhere around like 60 videos, close to 60 videos, I do believe, that are Native American records. We're talking about music, shellac records, vinyl records from back in 1902 up to now. That is one thing that I do like to share on there because I don't care about copyright claims on them, because in my opinion, it is educational, because some of them albums I am actually the only known owner to have besides the copy that might be in Library of Congress at this moment, if they still have a copy themselves. As I said, I've been on this spiritual leadership journey for a very long time. And the reason that has been that way is because of my family history. It is also because of my disability that I was also given this responsibility, because I have a lot of experience and traditional knowledge that will benefit people not only in my community but outside of the Native community. As we say in our culture, we are all related. That does not just mean us as Native Americans, but us as a whole around this globe. We are all made of the same earth. We all bleed red. We all share commonalities within our DNA. That is another reason that this Eagle staff here exists. We are all related, and that's why this represents you as well. As I said, my grandfather is Chief Pontiac, and he has been somebody that I have idolized and admired my entire life because of my bloodline. Now, Chief Pontiac is just one of my ancestral grandfathers. He is the most direct that my bloodline can tie back to. However, because of that, I am actually related to every traditional chief, hereditary chief around this country, because Chief Pontiac was one of the royal family. My family is one of the absolute oldest in this country. Our family goes back to be known 50,000 years ago. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the tribes today actually descended from one actual original tribe way back in the day, which would have been the Pontiac people. There's a lot of traditional stories that I can reference to help connect the dots throughout history, and I will actually be doing some of those maybe on this channel, but more likely on my oldest channel. If you would actually like to hear some of those kind of things here, please, by all means, let me know, and I will be more than happy to share that kind of thing here as well. But I want to make sure that that is value you want and not just something I perceive you may want to hear. So I would love your input on that as well. If you don't want it here, that is completely fine with me. I will be doing it over on my other channel, as I said. My life has never been easy, so that's why this spiritual journey for me on this leadership path has been something that I have worked towards for a lot of my life. This is how I have managed to keep myself pushing forward. This is the way that I can manage to state openly that I have attempted suicide before, and I've learned from each of them experiences. I can tell you now that I have been called by many names of racial discrimination and things like that because of my ancestry. I have also been called many names because people do not understand what it means to be a spiritual leader within the Native community. Everybody automatically assumes that you're some kind of person that's out practicing voodoo or witchcraft or some kind of crap like that. Which, if that is your thing, hey, that's your belief. I have no problem with it. Do what it is that you do. I'm not going to hate on you for it. I may not understand or agree with what your view is or your opinion is, but I will definitely not have an issue with accepting what your opinion is. Um, as I said, I am a traditional dancer and I do a lot of different things when it comes to our traditional culture. I am a content creator because I love to share my skill in video production or art or media, whichever way you look at it, because I do videos like here doing this live. I do actually create music as well. I am a painter, I am a woodworker, a metal worker, uh, a stone worker, or stone cutter. I am a traditional pipe maker. Um, I have a variety of different art talents, whether it is multimedia or instrumental or by using your hands. Um, I do a lot of those different things because it allows me to escape from the stress in my life. Sometimes I do it to be able to commemorate important events. Like when Standing Rock happened, I actually did a painting of an image that I seen watching everybody live on YouTube during one of the lives out there during the protest. And it was a group of elders as well as people of different cultures standing in one gigantic circle next to the Missouri River and performing a prayer and water ceremony. And I actually took that image as best I could for my visual ability, and I did a painting of that to commemorate the day that everybody stood together as a people to protect the Missouri River from the Dakota Access Pipeline as well as the Keystone Pipeline. Because unfortunately, that pipeline originally was supposed to go near Bismarck, North Dakota, but when they did the vote on it, the citizens there all said no. The instant that the citizens said no, the government decided, okay, well, we won't run it through this community of people, so we're just going to run it through the Native American reservation over here, and we're not going to care that it is their land, it is their treaty area, and that we're going to rip up sacred burial grounds. Yes, I did say that. Sacred burial grounds were desecrated for that pipeline to go in. Unfortunately, no matter how much we have fought up to this point to prevent that pipeline going in, it has already leaked a couple times. Unfortunately, this past week it was announced, but yet again by another judge, that they are going to allow the oil to flow, even though they were just told last month, approximately 3 weeks ago, that they need to shut the pipeline down to do an environmental impact study. Well, just the other day, unfortunately, a different judge threw out the original order stating it needed to be shut down and stated that the oil can continue to flow while they take their sweet ass time over the next few months to try and do an environmental impact study. In my opinion, that's bullshit. Why? Because if you're going to do an environmental impact study, it should have been done before the pipeline was put in, for one. For two, why are you doing an impact study after this pipeline has already leaked? It should have been done prior to that. Three, how is it that a judge can order that the pipeline must be shut down to perform these tests in environmental studies, and yet a few days later, a different judge can say, no, I'm not going to have that order followed through. Go ahead, continue pumping oil, and we'll take the next 6 months to a year to get this study done. That to me is bold, because the longer that pipeline runs, the higher the risk of another failure or an issue where we're going to have another major pipeline rupture or leak, like we did here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, back in 2010 when Enbridge Line 5 decided that it was going to start pumping like 10,000 plus gallons of oil into the environment as well as the river it was next to and running alongside of. Unfortunately, that river, though it is becoming a little bit better, that area is still highly contaminated because Enbridge went through and merely covered up the oil with dirt. Seriously. I can actually speak on this because I am personally friends with the man, John Bolenbaugh, who exposed it, who was an Enbridge Line 5 cleanup worker. He and I actually talked a few different times on this cause, and he has allowed me throughout the years since to use his videos to help educate on what happened with that environmental issue, because he was severely pissed off when he found out, because he was one of Enbridge workers. When he found out his company lied to him, that's when he became the whistleblower and it exposed everything that had happened here in Kalamazoo with them covering up the oil spill, not acknowledging the alarms that were going off stating that pressure had dropped, ignoring the alarms that stated that they were losing oils at an astonishing rate from that pipeline, ignoring the fact that they had such an amount of oil throughout the area and downriver now that they were going to have to take care of and failed to do it. They further went out to the river, as I said, and took truckloads, big dump truck loads of dirt and just threw it on the oil to make it sink to the bottom of the river, as well as on the land. The oil that had seeped out and was flowing across the top of the grass throughout the woodland here. All they did was cover it up with freaking leaves and crap that was on the ground. Here, we're going to rake it up, make it look good as if nothing happened, because now we've got dirt and leaves and sticks and stuff like that on top of it, so you can't see it's there. But you will actually know it's there because you can still smell the shit in the area around it. Unfortunately, that is a very nauseous smelling kind of crap. And I would know because I actually lived in a house that had one of them big freaking oil wells out in my backyard, venting poisonous gas, not even 300 foot away from my home. So there is actually a possibility that I could be dealing with health issues from the same kind of shit, even though I was not in the area of the Kalamazoo pipeline rupture. Because the gases that come out of those oils are highly poisonous and toxic and can kill you if you consume too much in a particular few minute span. This is one reason that I have been such an advocate for environmental issues, is because I am tired of seeing these corporations like this destroy our earth and get away with it practically without any kind of punishment. For instance, you would think that when a company has these kind of issues that they would have to pay multiple millions upon millions of dollars to handle it, as well as the Environmental Protection Agency fines and the DEQ fines and everybody else's fines underneath the government, right? Well, wrong. Unfortunately, they only got a slap on the damn wrist. Here, we went in, we covered things up. Okay, we're going to pay just over a few $1 million and we're good to go. That's it. And that's not cool. It is my honest opinion that every one of the employees for them companies that have knowledge of the wrongdoings and participate in the wrongdoings should also be criminally charged, as well as have to be paying the fines right alongside the corporate company CEO itself. The company should have to pay, the employees that participate and help assist in the cover up should have to pay, and as well as they should all be punished severely, in my opinion, and thrown in prison. If you participated in it, you are just as guilty as the one at the higher up that is telling you not to do something. Money is not the thing that we should be focused on when it comes down to the environmental issues. The thing we should be focusing on is how we can preserve it so that we, as a human species and as a multitude of species, including animals and everything else, can survive because of the environmental issues that are being created by these corporations who seriously don't seem to give two shits about anyone or anything other than the almighty dollar. As I said, you may hear me rant occasionally here, and if you do not agree with my opinion, I am sorry, but that's your right. I have no problem with it. We can agree to disagree because I'm not going to sit back and keep silent when it comes down to these kind of issues. I am a firm believer in speaking up when it comes to these kind of issues, whether it is an environmental issue, a cultural issue, a political issue, whatever it is, these things need to be openly discussed. Because if we don't openly discuss these things, history is going to continue repeating itself. And the more that this kind of crap happens and we keep repeating history, the more that this country and this world is going to keep going down the tubes because nobody is actually doing anything to make things better. All we're doing by avoiding these topics is making things worse. So again, if you are here watching these things live when I am talking on them, please speak your mind. I am not going to attack you for your opinion or your view here. And if I see anybody doing said things like that on the comments, they will be reported and removed. Trust me, I'm not going to tolerate trolls and hate and stuff like that within our comments. So do not fear that you're going to be attacked by somebody else, because if they do, I will remove that comment. I will not tolerate trolls and assholes on the comment section. You can spout off at me all you want. I really don't give two shits anymore. But if you attack my community, you can count on your shit getting removed because I will not tolerate it on my channel. Just an FYI. As I said, I have been a strong believer in protecting the constitutional rights because I do not believe they are just constitutional rights. They are human rights. You have the right to think for yourself. You have the right to say what the fuck you want to without fear of somebody attacking you because you have a different view or opinion or perspective of something happening. As I said, I've been referred to as a conspiracy theorist, but I can actually back up everything that I go off on these kind of rants. So you can call me conspiracy theorist all you want, but I do have proof of all the shit that I mention. Obviously, I am a humongous history buff because of my ancestral line. I am a very outspoken person because of the experiences I've had. I am also very outspoken because I have spent 8 years in uniform and know what our men and women in uniform go through. I have sent people to war and seen some of my own close friends come back in caskets or not come back at all because of how they left this world during a combat situation. So please understand that I am not saying these things to attack you. I am saying these things to help educate you and others to what is actually happening and what has happened. This is something that needs to be done by more people, because if we don't, shit's only gonna get worse. And I sure as hell do not want to see things continue to get worse. If you want to actually see things get worse to where we're actually living out the purge, then you're not helping. Seriously. If we were to go through a situation right now and we were to live out the TV show Purge, I think it would be a lot worse than what the TV show portrayed. I believe that this country would be going from being one of the greatest in the world to the absolute worst in the world because things have gotten way the fuck out of control and out of hand. It is our responsibility, not only as Americans, but as human beings, to fight these issues. If we do not fight these issues because of the powers that be that are higher up, then we're only going to be manipulated and controlled more between mainstream media and the politicians who think that they can give us false information and tell us what to do and hide the actual truths and facts of the matter. As I said the other day, you can ask any veteran, as I said earlier as well, you can ask any veteran at all, and they will all tell you the same thing, just as I am now. Our government has hid shit since the very beginning and will continue to hide shit because they want to have full control. If you do not want them to have full control, then you need to know your rights and practice your rights. Please. Practice free speech. Practice the right to freely assemble. Practice your right to bear arms. Practice your right to whatever religion or faith you have. Speak on them. If you want to go out and bitch on Facebook, bitch on YouTube, Twitch, whatever platform, that is technically freedom of the press. We do not need mainstream media to dictate or speak for us. We need to do that our damn selves. The sooner that we can get more people to do this, the sooner that we will more likely have a better future for everybody on this planet. Sorry if I sound like I'm being an asshole, but this is my honest opinion. As you can tell, I am very passionate about a lot of these different issues that I am talking on because I have endured a lot of them and I have seen a lot of them happen. This is something that I swore when I volunteered for the Marine Corps that I would protect is everybody's rights in this land from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And to me, our government is becoming more of a domestic threat than any American has been in the last 30 years because our government says that they are going to protect us, but has never been able to protect us since the beginning of this country. That's why all these tragedies continue to happen because they might get the intelligence to be able to prevent it, but they don't. They sit on their damn asses and go, "Oh well, yeah, I don't believe it. It's not substantiated. It's not that important." And the list goes on because they do actually give bullshit excuses like that. This whole situation that we're dealing with right now with COVID, I do not deny that we have a virus issue. Okay. I don't. There may be a virus issue. But the numbers that our government, whether it is the federal government, the city government, or the state government, is not 100% true. Because if it was 100% true, they would not come out what seems like every few hours a day, or every day in a row, or every other day, and tell us, oh, hey, well, we had a miscalculation. Bullshit. We have more than enough people in our government and in the healthcare system that we should not have miscalculations, especially when these entities say that they are communicating on a regular basis. You're not going to have a fluctuation of 50, 60,000 people in one day and then turn around the next day and say, oh, well, we had a miscalculation. It was only a couple hundred. That is manipulation by the political powers that be so that they can implement more things in the government to take your rights away from you. That way they can give more reasons to come in and take control. That has been their primary focus ever since the government was started. Seriously. Research it if you don't believe me. Look at how the whole two-party system was originally started, and look at how we have progressed to the point to where we now have more than just the Democratic and Republican Party. We now have the Independent Party, the Green Party, and the National Socialist Party. Unfortunately, and if you don't know what that is, then you really, really, really need to you need to take a minute and decide on whether you are going to understand what has happened through history, or if you're going to just say, fuck it, I don't believe history, and continue repeating the same mistakes that have been happening for generations. These things, as I said, need to be talked about. They need to be discussed openly so we can make everything a better situation for us all. This is why I do a lot of what I do. As I said, each of my channels here on YouTube I would consider educational, because it's not just about me and my journey, but it is about the blind and visually impaired community. The other channel is about helping people that want to be movie creators or video creators, music creators, art creators of whatever type. You have the native issues, you have environmental issues that not only affect us here in the United States, but everyone around the world. Cultural issues, not just native issues for cultural issues, but those of all around the world. There's so many misconceptions and hate and everything that happen because of misunderstanding things, because people refuse to talk on the subject. They would just much rather assume and then go on the defense or on the attack, because they do not want to take the time to learn and understand what has happened and what was said and what was done throughout the last 500 years and longer. As I said, my family bloodline has been around for the last 50,000 years. Now, I don't know about you, but if a bloodline has been around 50,000 years, then that means it predates a particular book. And I'm not saying that that book is bad. I am just stating that that book is comprised of multiple teachings of multiple cultures throughout the world. And this has been said time and time and time again by the Vatican itself. So please learn your history so we do not continue to repeat history and keep going down this rabbit hole of bullshit, making things worse. Another reason that I do a lot of these different things is to help with different things around the world. For instance, the other day I had mentioned about having 10 of my own Facebook pages as well as 18 different groups. The largest group that I am a co-founder of is the Native American Indian Association, which has over 16.2 thousand members. This group, this association, is all about bringing people together so we can learn from one another. Whether you're a native or a non native, it is a place for people to discuss culture and environmental issues, political issues, environmental issues, countries' issues between the US and Canada and China and Germany and the UK, whatever. It is an open platform for people to be able to have these open discussions and learn and understand where everybody is coming from. It is also a place that we guarantee that you have the right to free speech in your thought, because there is a lot of places and there's a lot of groups who will not allow that at all. If your opinion goes against what the admin thinks, well then boom, you're gone. And that's not how we want things to be ran, and that's not why we created that group. So if you'd like to check that out, you can find us on Facebook, the Native American Indian Association, the NAIA. As I said, we've got just over 16.2 thousand people. Another one of the groups that I am a part of is the United City Warrior Society, which is actually an international warrior society that I am the co-founder of and the more or less one of the leaders. My counterpart is actually over in Austria, and he helps over there by managing the website and helping manage the groups, as well as getting the word out, because he is one of my great friends, and he's more or less the leader of the group. But when it comes down to it, I'm like our main representative, as in the sense that because it is geared towards preserving Native American culture, history, and treaties and all that good stuff, I am the primary representative for the United States, Canada, Central America, and South America. I have a counterpart in each of those countries who will speak on behalf of each of the Indian nations in their country, or well, their native country. Uh, as I said, in our culture, we all understand that we are all related. As I said, we can show that our ancestral lines do tie into one another from the very top of Canada all the way to the bottom of South America. And each of my counterparts has been voted in by their community to be that representative. We were actually voted in by community members to be in these positions. We did not just create the group and go, okay, you're going to be in charge. No, we actually created the group, did a voting system so we could see who the people wanted in charge of each, representing each country. Because of my family history and my journey through life, was the one that was voted in as the primary US representative, as well as the Canadian representative, who I have my counterpart with that helps me manage, because we have a great deal of membership around the globe. We are actually represented in 11 different countries because of the mutual understanding of the issues that we're talking on, not just here in the United States, but around the world, the Middle East, Asia, Europe. Everyone has a representative somewhere, and we are still slowly but surely reaching more countries to help educate and share the stuff that has been happening in history, so that hopefully we do not go overboard and continue repeating it and making things worse. Unfortunately, this process is not the easiest because there are some language barriers and things like that. Internet's not always available in all the different areas as well either. So it has been a struggle, but we are slowly but surely making the improvements to get to where we have somebody everywhere. Oh, pardon. Do not mean burp in your ear. Sorry. Gotta love coffee. Been drinking a lot of it the last couple of days, so I'm sorry about burping. It just a lot of caffeine. And I don't want you to feel that I am trying to attack you or anything here on this channel because that is not my purpose. My purpose is to help people, not hurt people. As I said the other day, I am certified in the ability to save a life or take a life, and I would much rather save a life than have to take one. And that is my ultimate goal, is to help educate people so that we can save more, so we can stop seeing all this senseless killing that's going on around the world over stupid shit like misunderstandings. And I do not want to sit here and make you feel like I am ranting at you. So I'm actually going to go on to the next subject. Why do I do what I do, right? I do this because I have a very deep understanding of history. As I said, my family goes way back. History has always been one of my favorite subjects because of my family history. I can talk on these political issues because I have been able to see throughout history a lot of the crap that has been happening and is still continuing to happen. And I feel it is my responsibility, not only as a native, as somebody who is visually impaired, but as a Marine, to make sure that these things are brought up and exposed or brought to your attention for education. So hopefully in the future things will improve for the better instead of going downhill as it seems we have been for the last 20 years. The last 5 years really has been very, very, very bad, in my opinion, in going downhill in repeating history and repeating the same mistakes that have happened over the last 500 years. So that is why I do a lot of what I do, because I have studied history. I have endured a lot of the hardships that many of you have endured yourself. And I believe that it is our responsibility to bring these things forward, to educate on them, so we can actually grow together as a human species and not kill our Mother Earth. Hey, Brother Samson, thank you for showing up. I greatly appreciate it, brother. I actually think this may be an episode that you're going to love. I hope that you will catch this on replay, brother, because I would definitely love your input as well. I am hoping that by doing the challenge this month and opening up the way I have these past few days, that you understand that I am not out to attack any of you or anything like that. I'm just merely trying to educate as many as I can on as much as I possibly can because of the knowledge and experiences that I've had. It has been a very long, hard journey, and I know it's going to be a long, hard journey ahead. And I hope that because of having these discussions, that you will be with me on this journey and help me with this journey ahead to help others out there who need this information. I thank you all that are viewing this live with me as well as watching it on a replay. As I said earlier, please, if you are seeing this after it is live, comment below. Let me know that you are on hashtag Team Replay so I know that this information is actually getting out there and not going stagnant. I will be repurposing this video into multiple little videos just so it is also easier to find on each of the subjects as well. I am actually in the process as well of launching a podcast here in the near future. I have been talking to a few different people about the possibility and how I should do this. And as soon as I get everything figured out on when it will be done and how it's going to be done, you all here will be the first to know about the new podcast that will be coming out here in the near future. I am also working with a couple of the community members to assist me as moderators for the groups and things like that. So I am not overwhelmed in trying to manage doing lives and create content and research content and respond to everybody's comments or questions. So please note that if you do not get a direct combat or comment back from me, Andrew, that you will receive one from one of my administrative assistants or my moderators, and they will immediately let me know of the question or situation you have that you need my assistance or want to talk to me about, and I will get back to you myself immediately after that as soon as I am able to. As I said, I am doing multiple things on multiple platforms to help educate, and I've been doing it for so long solo that I realize that I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt because I'm spread too thin to be able to manage everything alone. So I am now developing a small team to assist me. And if you're interested in being a volunteer for now and assisting with these things, please, by all means, comment below or email me and we can discuss on which platform you would like to assist, how you may want to assist, because I would appreciate any kind of feedback or help that anybody would love to give. It is not required. I am not saying that I want you to do these things, but if you feel like you want to, by all means, I am open to the extra help because 3 YouTube channels, 10 pages, and 18 groups of my own is already a lot. Then I have another 10 groups that I am a co founder of, 5 of which I am an assistant administrator on. So I am very busy throughout the day, either on my own stuff or assisting with the others that I am a part of in their community. And I hope that you are gaining value here based on today's topic of what is your why. I know I have actually gone off on a little bit of a rant today on some of these subjects, and I do apologize for sitting here so long. And if you feel that I may have offended you, because that is not the purpose. As I said, this is to hopefully open discussion and dialogue between everybody, whether you're black, white, Cuban, Asian, European, whatever. This is a safe place to have these conversations without fear of being hated on so we can help educate people around the world. This is not just about being visually impaired or blind. This is about life in general. That's why it is Consult a Blind Guy and not just an XLRP channel or the no offense to reference this name, but it's not the Blind Guy show. Okay, Greg, shout out to Greg at the Blind Guy Show because Greg is freaking awesome on his channel. He is actually doing a lot on his for education and things as well. But I merely make the reference of the Blind Guy Show because this is not all about me. That was actually a name that I was considering using before I seen Greg had it. And what's funny is Greg and I are actually only like 2 weeks apart off from each other on the launch of our channels. So now that there is actually a little bit of a hilarity in itself that two blind guys almost use the same exact channel name and are kind of doing the same kind of topic for their channel. Mine is a little bit more broad than Greg's, but I actually love listening to Greg's channel as well. And if you haven't seen him here in the chat to check out his channel, it is The Blind Guy Show. He is freaking awesome. Just note that Greg is 100% blind, so be aware that it might take him a quick minute to respond to you if you do comment. He does have to use assistive technology to be able to read the comments because his phone or computer will read it to him for him because he cannot do it like I do. So check out the Blind Guy Show with Greg. He is awesome. He may actually have some information you might be interested in as well. As I've said, if you're interested in doing business related things, check out Pat Flynn. He is somebody that I watch every morning before I come here and go live. And that is one reason we are switching up the schedule just a little bit for the rest of the month, is because I watch Karma Cash Flow first thing in the morning because we are brothers and we are doing the Leda challenge together. So I go and show my support for my bra over there. After I show my support for my bra Karma, I go over to Pat Flynn. After Pat Flynn, I do actually have a Zoom meeting during the week. And then after the Zoom meeting is usually live streaming pros. I would prefer to be able to watch them, but I may occasionally skip for this stream because I want to be able to work with everybody's schedule to ensure that you can come here and see the live video with me. So we will be changing the schedule just a tad starting on Monday. I will be going anywhere between 1 and 2 in the afternoon. That way I have enough time to participate in my Zoom meetings with my quarantine fam and have our conversations that we usually have after Pat's video or stream for the day. And then I will come here, or I will be here immediately after the live streaming pros at 2. So the rest of this month, other than the weekends, it will be between 1 and 2 in the afternoon. Saturday and Sunday will be at noon Eastern Standard Time. I will keep it at that schedule for the rest of the month. So plan on between 1 and 2 Monday through Friday, and at noon on Saturday and Sunday for the rest of the month. That is our new schedule for the live stream. 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time will be the new designation for start time, and noon Eastern Time, Saturday and Sunday. As I've said, I hope that this video, this live, has provided you with some value. I appreciate you all coming here and supporting me and encouraging me and commenting. It is beyond grateful. I actually look forward to reading your comments and having these discussions. Don't forget that if you're seeing this on the replay, to comment hashtag Team Replay. Feel free to reach out if you need somebody to vent to or want to collaborate, anything like that. You can hit me up in the comments. You can hit me up on social media or on my email. Thank you again for coming and joining me today. This has been an awesome stream. I look forward to talking to you more in the future on these topics. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you can stay updated on the latest videos, live streams, and more. And I will see you all bright and early tomorrow afternoon because, oh yeah, today is Sunday. Duh. I was thinking for some reason that we were already on Monday morning. Can you tell I've only had a few hours of sleep the last couple of days? Yeah. Anyway, everybody, thank you again for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, evening, or morning wherever you may be around the world. And I will see you later.